Hey guys, what's going on? So as I mentioned, I got shot down by Betalist because my design pretty much sucked. And yesterday I redid the entire design of the front page, well, for the most part. And I wanted to say that I'm actually grateful for getting shot down by Betalist because the design wasn't really great. You know, I'm not a great stylist of websites. And after that, it really forced me to, analyze other sites, which I showed in the last video, to pick out patterns that are, basically make sites look better. So it was a fruitful exercise. I think the site looks quite a bit better now. We'll see if they accept me. I hope they do, fingers crossed, because if they don't, that's my last chance to submit on Betalist, which is a great way to get the word out. There are many others, of course, which I'll pursue after this. But whatever happens, it's not a huge deal because, again, I put in 1 to 2 weeks of work on these projects. So any given one is not really a huge deal. It's more about the process of doing it, and it's a lot of fun. So that's it. I'm going to show you the changes I made and then resubmit it, and hopefully everything goes well. This is the old version that got rejected due to poor design. I'm going to show you the new one right now and just show you what I did. Check out the previous video for more about how I did that. I'm just going to show you the result now. So this is the old site that got rejected. This was the whole form and functionality on the front page. You guys have already seen this in the previous videos, so I won't spend any more time on it. Here's the new one. Here's the new one. So I'll just start from the top. Added some animations to the links here with the primary color. I got rid of the color on this thing and I took off the all caps. I just think that kind of makes it simpler, reduces the visual clutter. And I also added an explanation here of what the site actually does. It uses social pre-commitments. I didn't have any of that before. I just had this example thing, which didn't really have much context. Maybe it was kind of visually interesting, but it just felt kind of busy up here. And I think also making it full screen just reduced the busyness and just makes it cleaner. What do you think? Anyway, and added the button here, of course. And then you can see there's a parallax effect there. It's a little choppy, I think, because the screen recorder is running and it kind of slows it down. Normally that doesn't happen. But that was a pretty common thing that you see on sites, and it just gives it another level of visual interest. You might think it's like not a big deal at all, but it's one of these like 1 to 2% improvements, you could say, or just these little things that give you like a little emotional interest when you go to site. Maybe emotional is the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying, a little visual interest here. So scrolling down, the new how it works section, you can see the old one was super small, just text, no differentiation. And I talked about basically why I made it like this in the previous video, so check that out because I analyzed these other sites on Betalist. And it's good to have a separate numeral. It's good to have a separate heading for each section, and I didn't have that at all here. It was just like somewhat bolded, and the one was just in the same font. And all this was super small, one little section here, so it was just easy to skip. But there's no way they're skipping it now because it takes up a huge section of the page. You can see I added a preview of the actual commitment contract here. I moved the scrolling thing here, of course. Added an email preview. I painstakingly recreated a Gmail compose mail thing here in CSS. Wasn't that hard, but it was annoying. Because have you ever inspected the Gmail DOM? If you ever do one of these, you pull the inspect on the Gmail. It's very complicated. There are many different layers to their document object model, I think it is. So it's very kind of tricky finding out what colors they use and so forth, but I just kind of improvise it. It's not exact. Anyway, yeah, I think this is a lot cleaner, and they're, as I mentioned, they're not going to skip over it, right? It kind of grabs your attention. So I like the graphics too. I think that's sort of a nice touch. And I stick with this one primary color, kind of is in here as well, which is sort of fortuitous. And I explained this stuff a little bit better. I worked on the copy a little bit as well. Another thing I mentioned in the previous video was adding distinct sections to the page. You can see there really wasn't any distinct section beyond this header here. After that, it's just kind of like all white background. But here I break it up with, one of these, cool background image with, again, a slightly colorful gradient. Normally I just use black, add a opaque black layer to kind of make white text more visible. But this time it's actually sort of blue and fades into purple a little bit. Maybe you can't really see, it's pretty subtle. but I want to experiment more with colorful gradients so I can, make the white text stand out and not just black. And again, icons, I pointed that out in the last video. They're kind of cool. It makes it more visually interesting and gives some cues as to what you're talking about. Also, the distinct headers, yeah, sticking with the font. So I'm using Open Sans as the sort of supporting font. And I forget what this font is, but it's the main sort of accent font that I'm using everywhere. And then here's a little inspirational quote, slight social proof maybe for the concept. Just a little kick in the pants to actually take action, a little emotional call to action there. And you can see the cool little pattern here. I really love this wave pattern. I forget what it's called, but it's a sort of a classic pattern. I actually thought about using it up here, but I thought I would just keep it simple. And yeah, that of course, sort of emotional call to action. I love this picture here, somewhere in Hawaii, it looks like, and a call to action button. And added the little pattern background here in the footer. Oh yeah, obvious important point. You can see on the original version which got shot down, this whole form, this is the whole functionality of the site, excuse me. I took that off the front page completely. So now this whole front page is basically a sales pitch, and you actually have to click here to burn the boats if you want to actually fill out the form. So this is on a separate page, and I think that's good. It just compartmentalizes everything better, I think. And yeah, so that's a new site. I really hope they accept me this time, as I mentioned, because it's my last chance on beta list. But no worries if not. I'll just find some other way to get the word out. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you want to follow on in this awesome app building adventure. Going to be making tons of other sites and vlogging it. And let me know if you have any ideas for design, app ideas, distribution ideas, whatever it might be. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.